What's going on today, XRP Army? I'm going to show you Grok's or Elon Musk's most recent forecast on XRP, taking into account all the changes in the markets. Okay, because we now know a lot more about why the Fed is cutting rates. In terms of price, this is one of the most important and big signs of where we're going. It basically tells us how much money is coming into the markets. Right now, all three of the big banks are pretty much saying that rates will go down between 2 and 3 times before the end of the year. This gives us a good idea of how much money will actually come through and move around the markets. With all of this in mind, I wanted to see what Grok thought. Now, keep in mind that Grok is an AI tool. It's pretty good at studying certain things. It's not always great. So I'm going to break down a lot of what it says and also give you some of my own thoughts based on my experience in the market. I've been able to prove Grok wrong before, and I might be able to do it again today with this XRP statement. I will talk about all of that, though. I just wanted to give you all an update based on the most current information we have seen that takes everything into account. So I asked Grok if the Fed would cut rates 3 times in 2025. There are billions of dollars coming into and going out of XRP every day, and Hidden Road handles billions of dollars worth of deals every day on the XRP. What could happen with the price of XRP? Now, we know that our rates are going to go down, which is why I asked about these 3 things. We know that ETFs are getting better. We know that Secret Road will handle business worth billions of dollars on the XRP. All of these things are happening or will happen very soon. Now that all of that is done, what does that look like? So it gives us a base case, a bullish case, and a negative case for prices. I thought the positive case was pretty interesting too, right? It said that each coin was worth $5 to $20. You'll notice that I've been saying the same thing over and over in my movies for at least 3 years. I've been talking about how this bull run is likely to end with a peak of about $20 per XRP. I believe that will happen. So this is what Grok calls the top of the top bullish case. To get to this point, Grok thinks we need 3 rate cuts from the Federal Reserve. That, of course, would make the risk on mood XRP higher. Between $5 and $8 billion would flow into TFs. Now, I want to tell you that I asked Grok to give me, billions of dollars every day, 5 to 8 billion. Up until the end of the year, from September to December, we get between $5 and $8 billion. On the high end, this costs $20. This basically says that Hidden Roads handle billions of XRP transactions every day, which drives utility and regulatory clarity. It's also a factory, and it says that a reasonable price would be between $5 and $10 if all of those things happened. I think this is way too low since we know these things are happening, but just getting $5 to $8 billion coming in, I think that's very possible, especially in the early stages of ETFs. As we saw with Bitcoin, they get a lot of money very quickly. In the right situations, that can grow very quickly. But we can see Grok makes it very clear that if we get more inflows than that, say 5 to 8 billion Bitcoins or just 5 billion, we could see XRP inflows of up to 30 Bitcoins, which would help prices go up. And Grok is basically saying that there's a 60 to 70 chance that this will happen. The odds are about 60 to 70% that XRP will go between $5 and $20. I know that's a big number, but you have to remember that there are a lot of things that could change this, so it makes sense that Grok won't say $20. Here, there's a 70% chance that we'll hit these price levels. Many things are likely to happen. It also talks about these other cases that are more negative. Speaking for myself, I believe there is a very small chance that XRP will not perform and a 25% chance that it will peak around $5. I personally don't think this will happen, and I'll explain why very soon because there are other factors that Grok may not have thought of. I then asked Grok another question. Assuming that the Federal Reserve starts lowering interest rates this month, September, and keeps doing so every month until the end of the year, and that there are no delays in ETFs, the XRP ETF will get at least $1 billion in new money every day for the next few months. How does that look, all right? Again, I think this is a likely outcome because XRP ETFs will be available not only in the US, but also in Canada, Australia, and Europe. You name it, and a lot of people are interested in ETFs, even in places where Bitcoin isn't as popular. South Korea and Japan are 2 places that show this. I believe that if Japan and South Korea also release ETFs or similar products, things could really take off very quickly, especially when you consider how much trading goes on in South Korea. It's crazy. Anyway, Grok has updated their prediction, now saying that the price will go between $10 and $25. I still think this is a very conservative estimate, but you can see that they're raising the base case of the bullish case scenario. Well, anyway, a lot higher. For the record, I believe that everything I mentioned has a pretty good chance of happening. In fact, Grok agrees, stating that there's a 65 to 75% chance of that happening. I also want to take into account the fact that banks around the world will begin to offer crypto custodial services. We know this is taking place in the United States of America already, and if it happens in the US, Europe, or Canada, they'll follow. They'll be a little behind. Even though it might not happen until the end of the year, it will happen if XRP is also used in banks, which it will be. Let's also think about that. Along with everything else we already had, that could make the price go up to 30. Once more, Grok makes that chance even higher, because this takes into account something else very big that banks are already working on. I mean, the chance of that happening is incredibly high, really, really big, so I put the last puzzle piece in place. Into this equation, and I said that I thought XRP would take over only 10% of SWIFT's cross-border payments, not 100% of them. What might we be able to see then? Now, this is where things really get interesting. The bullish case is now between $25 and $40. And if we were to take over 25% to 30% of SWIFT, I mean, XRP would start going into the hundreds of dollars per coin, because trillions of dollars worth of transactions would be going through the XRP ledger. It's clear that XRP has a lot of promise here. And I just wanted to make that point clear. We're not going to reach every goal at the exact time we want to, but if we can get a few of these things to line up, I think it's clear to everyone watching that there is a lot of price potential for XRP.